Last week, I put a call out on a renewable energy group on LinkedIn asking for a guest host, and Dr. Novenka Alesovic answered the call. Dr. Alesovic is a research professor at the Institute for Multidisciplinary Research at the University of Belgrade. Her specialty is green hydrogen, and she is well respected in the green hydrogen industry, having authored over 100 research papers and presented at international conferences. I'm thrilled to talk green hydrogen with her, so join me. Hello, Dr. Novenka. Thank you for meeting me today.
Uh, Thank you very much for inviting me, hello.
That's great. So you are joining us from Serbia.
Yes.
Which is amazing. And you're with the University of Belgrade.
Yes.
And so tell us about what your background is and what got you interested in the study of green hydrogen.
I have started studying green hydrogen exactly almost 30 years ago when I was a PhD student. My supervisor was working on water electrolysis and actually producing green hydrogen. Green hydrogen actually is producing by water electrolysis process. It is splitting the water by DC current. On the other electrode, you have oxygen, and other is hydrogen. Cathode, you gain hydrogen, pure hydrogen, so-called green hydrogen, because it is absolutely green as for environmental influence. It is pure and did not contain any traces, even greenhouse gases or something like that. I have started when I started my PhD 30 years ago to be interested in water electrolysis and the production of green hydrogen. For those who don't know, green hydrogen thus is produced by water electrolysis, splitting water by DC current, and you gain pure green hydrogen.
Wonderful. And that's what got you curious about the study of green hydrogen and how you got involved in it.
Yes, I have been involved as a PhD student, and actually after that, we continue to study fuel cells as a device. It's using fuel as a fuel green hydrogen, and that was all my career. I can say all 30 years, almost my career at the University of Belgrade, Institute for Multidisciplinary Research, Center of Excellence for Green Technologies. We are devoted to green technologies. We are very aware that our planet is going to be in danger if we continue using only fossil fuels, and to destroy the environment and climate change is anything that is caused by using fossil fuels.
Exactly. So from your perspective, where you live, I'm in Canada. A lot of our listeners are all over the world. You live in Serbia. So from where you live, how do we how can globally we transition from fossil fuels to renewables in the world?
I can say we have to see it globally, because Serbia is a small country. It is just 6 million people. You don't know, it is small demand and small supply energy, but we all have to think and do things globally, because unfortunately in USA and Europe, the consumption and production of energy is the highest, it is already based on fossil fuels. Even 75% of consumption and production energy today is similar in USA and Europe, for instance, is based on fossil fuels, gas, oil, and coal. And it was, but it is not yet now. It was cheap, it was enough. But today, in scientists aware that fossil fuels are going to be exhausted. It is not only influence on environment, but they are going to be exhausted. The demand and supply, the demand is increasing, the supply is the same, and the reserves need to be exhausted. It already caused climate changes, natural disasters, greenhouse effects, and many other biodiversity disorders, and other harmful consequences for our environment. Because of that, we all, scientists, stakeholders, policymakers, marketing experts like you, to raise the consciousness, so to awareness of audience, how is it important, to transit from fossil fuels to green one. Green are based on wind, solar, green hydrogen, lithium-ion batteries. It is done now, but it is still only, even including nuclear energy, it is still even, as I can say, only 25% of for consumption energy in the world. It is too low, and we are all working here, have to work together to increase renewable energy in the future.
So what state-of-the-art advancements, in technology have been made toward getting off fossil fuels?
Advancements of exactly green hydrogen is because it is absolutely no harmful for environment. It is a fuel that when you use it as a fuel in fuel cells, proton exchange member fuel cells as devices instead of internal combustion machine that use gas or oil. We use in polymer electrolyte hydrogen fuel cells. We use hydrogen, pure fuel, that there is no classical combustion, but after oxidation of the fuel, you gain only as a waste, as gases, nothing besides water, steam, and excess of heat. You start from water and you gain water, steam, nothing else. It is absolutely safe for the environment, and it is also important to emphasize that water cycle is one of the shortest in nature. The water cycle is happen. We start from water. Canada has water, a lot of water. Serbia and our planet has, because it is a water cycle.
I love the terminology, circular economy. I like that. I like that. What is the role of green hydrogen? What does it play in that?
How green hydrogen contributes to circular economy in the following way. If you can imagine, we are starting from water. We have water in different ways, and after splitting water, we get in hydrogen fuel. It is used as a fuel in fuel cells, and then it is produced electricity and power for transportation, portable stationary devices, and especially in transport devices and other cars, trucks, and something like that. We gain, like I already said, we gain only water, steam, no gases harmful for environment. Just a circular is that knows in this sense. We start from water and we gain water in another form, and that's the cycle. Nothing to lose and nothing to harm environment.
Exactly. How can it contribute to sustainable economic development?
Yes, and also the one sustainable economy development, namely already mentioned fossil fuels usage if I can say, are absolutely like against sustainable development. How can it be sustainable if we know that it will be exhausted and we all the time it is increasing process. We are destroying our environment. We are destroying our climate we are leaving our planet in really, really bad conditions to our future generations. So if we start like that, but it's for sustainable development and green hydrogen, it is absolutely sustainable because you be from the also the same reason we have water and we have all hydrogen produced from water splitting. We have at the end water steam from transportation devices and from the factories, and it is absolutely sustainable. It is only one very sustainable fuel. There are others, but it is one of the way to make world sustainable because water would not be exhausted because we say it's water cycle and our planet is mainly water,
Right. We have lots of water. Sorry to interrupt here, but did you know that this podcast is a passion project of sociable media? And this is where I get to do a shameless plug for our services. Sociable Media is a digital marketing agency that works with clients in the renewable energy sector. We design websites, manage social media, run ad campaigns, write content, all that sort of digital marketing stuff. I just want to throw that in there. Now back to the podcast. What are the future challenges do you see? Are there any for the future of green hydrogen?
Yes, of course, the challenges are. I can see. I have following that many years ago, and I think last maybe 2 years it is increased. Policymakers at the first time are important. I mean, U.S. Department of Energy, European Council, governments of rich countries, G7 and G20, who are decision makers, to assign funds for development of new green renewable energies. And the other challenge for green hydrogen is infrastructure to build infrastructure for green hydrogen to be used, and also economic impact analysis to persuade customers that it is not so expensive like it was. The market changed, fossil fuels, and maybe 1,005 price is rising, and
right.
Also you probably know this expression, critical raw materials. There are materials that are abundant in the earth core, but now are not available because in Europe the war stopped it, Because of that, European Council adopted critical raw materials, materials that are abundant but not available. They are, for instance, in Siberia or something like that,
Right.
And I would like to also to emphasize Olive's your role as a marketing expert. You know how to persuade customers, how to we all hardly change our habits, how to persuade them that it is better for them to use it, to change to habit to drive car on gasoline and then use green hydrogen powered one. It is produced, really.
Yeah, just marketers, we have a good way of helping with awareness and education, which is the whole intent of this podcast, is to create awareness and education from reliable resources and sources. So a recent listener just sent in this comment, and it was somebody who I interviewed recently about hydrogen. And they made the comment that green hydrogen is going to be made in Canada, and then it's going to be shipped to Europe. but that green hydrogen, it's not shippable. Some say that hydrogen needs to be generated where it is used. I just want to get your thoughts on that. Whether that, um, what do you think about that comment?
I think, hydrogen is not necessary to be shipped, but it could be shipped if it is necessary. If I uh, see Canada and Serbia or something like that, it is the better for the bigger consumer to produce hydrogen at the spot and use it, for instance, at airports, at big factories and something like that. But if it is case from Canada to Europe shipment, then there's no need to ship, because in Canada you also have water and you can produce hydrogen and use it in Canada. But if it is also needed even to ship, hydrogen can easily be turned into ammonia or methanol in chemical reactions with nitrogen from atmosphere, and you can ship ammonia, for instance, as a hydrogen carrier. But it is not necessary, in Europe, even it was started with pipelines, pipelines for gas, classical gas, fossil fuels. Now, of course, they cannot be used for hydrogen, but now in Europe, they're started to construct big projects were started to construct pipelines of different materials that could also transport hydrogen, gas hydrogen.
What are the so I have two more questions left, and one of them is what are the advantages and disadvantages of between green hydrogen and lithium ion batteries?
I think that both of them they have some advantages. In my opinion, I think that lithium ion exactly will stay for many years in portable, in portable devices, and like mobile phones or laptops or something like that. And such devices, number of such devices is increasing all the time, and but for transportation, I mean cars, trucks, factories, I think that green hydrogen is better solution. Why? Lithium ion batteries seems to be cheaper, but it is not exactly for transportation. It is cheaper for mobile phone. You need a small battery, it's okay. But to got power for car or for truck, you need one uh, uh, 1,000, several thousand grams, so several kilograms of lithium, and it is not then so expensive, so cheap like it is usually in audience thought.
So you're saying it's best applied for trains or airplanes, large.
Yes, I think for even for planes, they're planning to use hydrogen, but lithium ion will probably stay, I believe, many years for portable devices, because natrium, sodium ion is also developed, but not enough to be mass commercialized. Absolutely, and another interesting thing I learned recently, lithium is abundant. It is said that it is abundant. There is a lot of lithium in earth core. However, half of lithium could must be remain for mental diseases, organic causes like schizophrenia, the bipolar disorder. The medicines are based on lithium, and it is absolutely needed for such purpose. Because of that, we cannot use all lithium to power car and to leave people without medicine.
the last question I want to ask, and it's really important. And what type of work are you and your group working on right now at the? Because you're at the Institute for Multidisciplinary Research at the University of Belgrade. So tell me a little bit what you're working on.
We are all the time trying to synthesize catalysts for hydrogen production on the other side. On the other hand, for fuel cell reactors, catalysts to synthesize catalysts with high activity and stability, use it for production of hydrogen, and also parallel catalysts for green hydrogen fuel cells as devices where fuel hydrogen is oxidized. And we are currently developing these catalysts and catalyst support, and we have established very fruitful collaboration with Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory from California, for Argonne National Laboratory from USA, also from Calgary in Canada, and maybe Europe famous universities, because we need very cost and very expensive equipment to do such kind of research, to synthesize these catalysts, to test it, and to try to improve for future using of green hydrogen as a renewable energy.
Well, I really appreciate your time here today and sharing your thoughts. I'm excited to see what's next for you and your colleagues. And thanks again. I don't know if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask. If anybody who is listening or watching this, please send in your questions to podcast@sociablemedia.co. And we'd love to hear from you. And Dr. Novenka, I mean, it'd be great if you could help me answer any of those questions that come in.
Of course, yes. I will answer any question that you got, and just contact me by LinkedIn, by email, whatever.
That's great. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Bye.
I always love hearing different perspectives from different parts of the world about how to get off fossil fuels and use different ways of reimagining energy, and in this case, green hydrogen. I want to thank again Dr. Novenka for joining me. And if you would like to be a future guest on Reimagine Energy, please reach out. We'd love to have a discussion. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.